Okay, with Trade and Perform coaching, Joyce asked me to record levels and how I'm using these levels and which trades I am and am not taking. So you'll see I put out a clean version of zones, and then I have my regular version back over here, which is this. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the reason for that is thank you is responding off the Joshua, good morning. Is the audio good? Everything's good? Okay, I'm going to assume. Okay, good. So obviously Gexon. So first of all, we are coming in to a positive gamma environment to start the day. All that means for you doesn't mean the market can't go down. It doesn't mean that it'll only go up. What it means is that the support level, that the order flow is supportive of buying dips and selling rips and more of a choppy, grindy environment. That's all it means for the day. That's it. Okay. Versus when you have negative gamma, the market gets loose and has these wide, straight rotations down and then wide, straight rotations up. And you have to adjust both your exits and your expectation for B. Okay. So I will show you. These are yesterday's levels on NQ. I'll post the NQ levels as they develop, but I'll wait till after the open to get that done. So what I want to show you all is two things. Okay. So first of all, you will notice. Okay. So this morning, this 70, basically 70.48 to 70.52, that is the largest open position in the immediate area in ES. Okay. And it should act as an absorption level, right? So I already shorted there once this morning. I already covered it out. Okay, I shorted right here. And what I am looking for when we come into these levels is I'm both the star to press up and then the bar with the point control outside. Those two things specifically, or delta thrust. I'm basically looking for algo, reversal stars, the easiest way. Go down is even better. And I want it to have. So the challenge with that, like you can see overnight, you could avoid it all night long. You can see it just missed that zone, right? Everyone front ran it and then supports down here. My target this morning is either come into 27, come back to 48, and then fail, come back to 27. It opens to 12. Now I'm going to explain to you would have traded that the way that would have worked yesterday. Okay, so if you're turning on the algo, right? If you're going to turn on the algo and you want the algo as you're in the algo to fire, if you're using engaged, right? If you're looking for the long side of the algo, right? You want it to come in, or you can use the zone trader that everyone has and just overlap out of the zone. The way that looks, I'm going to show it right here. Instead of reconstruct, it annoys people a little bit. Okay, so I've given a couple examples. Okay, and I'm building a library. Oh, that's not what I wanted to show. It's this one right here. Okay. Why didn't it blow up? If you remember yesterday, this is effectively open right here. This is 8:30. And if you remember in the morning, I said, hey, look to get long once you're inside that zone. So if you'll notice, we came in, we did not get the star, right? There's the outside the body. That's the long, right? And you have one or two choices. You can use the 11-point stop that I've been using, or fire on that. So I'm going to give you an example. This is a zone. In fairness, I did not have it printed. If you watched the trade review yesterday, I did not have this zone presented. It came in. You got the delta thrust. You got the stars and the delta thrust, the reversal bar with the point of control. If you didn't use the 11-point stop, you had to take it 2 times. This is a 6, I already measured them, right? This is a 16-point reversal. And then there's the star up into the zone and then the rejection out. So again, I didn't make up the zone. That's just where the calls and the puts are sitting, right? Then to show you how it kind of dictates how the market's going to trade, that whole purple area, the chop zone, okay? So, but once again, you'll see when we came in, delta thrust, point control outside, counter rotation back up. This is the top of the chop zone. So each little area tends to act as a support resistance level. You get the algo on the reversal. Where does it go back? Back to the target to the right. And you will notice as we go through this, right, we just chopped that area, which made sense. And you also really want to focus on the first time in. So I took a stop here. I thought we could get out of that, and I was wrong. It got hit by news, right? So if you focus on the first time in, and you look at it, was in 20-point plus rotation up, in done by 9:15 in the morning. You were done on that rotation, right? So what I'm working on, and the reason I'm going back each morning, and I can give detailed models on whether gamma, right? You will notice I took the Keltner filters out of here, but if these are outside the Keltner filters, which is, and you get the delta thrust with a side, you have a counter rotation back up. So delta thrust first and star second. And then the other thing you will notice is that the stars at the edges are within the zone, right? And the stars envelopes push very, very nicely, right? So, and then you'll see as it comes in. Did I not get it all the way over? I apologize. So if you'll remember this, I'll show you what this looked like, right? From a balance, came back in, and they gave you a star down to the zone. And if we lost 71.40, we would get most likely 70.95 was the target below. So I'm going to go back yesterday so that you can piece these things together. Excuse me, I apologize. Okay, so these are not the same zones, right? So 70.95. This is under Denver. Okay, this is that zone I was referencing, right here, box on it. This is roughly the zone that was in that picture. It comes down to like here. Okay, so if you look, we came in, responsive buyer, that's the edge of that envelope, comes in, star down, right? So if you go look at the stars that are within there, right? I'm not star up, star up. This is the star up that failed, and this star up failed over here. But early in, they work very nicely. And then you'll notice we break the zone, right? Backside test it, white square, star down, and then this was as of yesterday. If you take 95 and go 2 above and 2 below, so it's basically 97 to 93 was the target, and there you will see we just get an algo coming out of that level. But what you'll also see with these zones is you can actually trade zone to zone, and then you can use the algo. Same concept, continue with the same concept that Joshua, do you have any questions about that? Because I'm going to switch gears after this about yesterday's trading in ES and jump over for a second. Was I clear on that? To get it to automatically trade out of, or to get it to trade out of there automatically? No, just wait. I'm misunderstanding the question. Obviously, you can copy the trade, so you're asking me something different. You can just copy it when I post it, right? So I'm misunderstanding what you're asking me. Yeah, there's multiple ways to get those levels. If you'll just remind me, go into it right now, but there's multiple ways to get those levels. From that covers that. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, right? So you're trading, right? Notice how you go super. So I want to show you. When it comes down, right? What's the other way to do this? So next, let's apply Dan's concept to the way we trade, right? So if you look, we do not go supernova here. So we go inverted supernova, right? We go in for the points of control outside for the short, right? Trade one, stop. That was right above support. It wasn't a great trade decision, right? Trade two, we're still in inverse supernova, right? Now, still not in supernova, right? Swing right here, right? Three up, right? Point of control outside, and this one I love because it's on the edge. Down, rotate down, rotate down, rotate back up. Now, here, you're trading from here into here, so there's going to cause a conflict, right? You have to decide whether you're trading out of support, the supernova in the direction of, and it's a judgment call, right? I think in these zones you have to be wise to short. Okay, I don't think it's to short into those zones. I think underneath like this is trying to short back here because the natural target would have been the natural target out of here on these longs would have been to retrace back to the 47. right? That's what you would have been playing for. Zone, right? Sits inside that grind zone problem, right? If you get comfortable out of this area, when you get in here and you start trying to take the shorts, so see how you're ending up with little stops right off the top of the zones. You don't want to enter and then get popped on the way back down, right? You don't want to enter and get popped on the way back down. And then as you're coming here, so now you're right. So when you're, this is where I'm good. See how you've come back to the zone over here? You're outside the channel. So see how the point of control is bare distinction, okay? This is okay, right? But when you control, when you're outside that channel and that point of control is clearly outside, that is a better trade. Like when you go through and look at which ones work, right? Which ones, the ones where the point of control, it's outside the channel and that point of control is way out there and is preceded by an out 3-bar combination. And I have that programmed, right? So if you'll just align that with where you're trying to trade, right? So are there problems with it? Sure. See that news rip down? That's the last hour, right? You're going to get clocked here, right? B grade, right? It wasn't a zone today, right? It was lower. It was the 90, I guess it was 95, so it was 97, 7 to 92. So let's assume you took this still because it was still delta thrust stuffed outside, right? One all the way down here. Now, that's in a news-driven environment, and what are you going to do about that? There's not much. There's not much you can do in terms of fixing it or not fixing that trade. My suggestion is where these are most effective, if you think about it, right, is early in the day, because you could look at that zone and this was the characteristic yesterday, right? That 75 was the flip for, right? So if you look, what happened here is at 71.95, it's sitting right here, right? Every time you have a key level, so this is to unlock utility, right? So what you had to get underneath, hold underneath, and then go lower. Instead, they exhausted in, right? So you will see they came back up, got to the outside edge. So this is today's level. This wasn't here yesterday, the 71.02, right? They got back in, they rotated down. They couldn't get back underneath that 95. Why is that? That 95 is the flip zone and knows that, okay? The gamma flip to neutral is 70.90. But in order to break down and really increase the volatility pressure, by that I mean force market makers to sell into lows and buy into rips, okay, we have to get below and hold below 70.70, okay? That is important. So NQ, I'll do in negative gamma, NES can be in positive gamma. NQ flipped temporarily into negative gamma, and you can see it. I can show you where from NQ. So this is easy. Okay. NQ flip. And you'll see it in the charts. Below 27.90. Okay. So I want to so this was excuse me, it was 790. I think I wrote moved that zone, but it was roughly there, right? So big stretches, big counter rotations, up, down, rip. Now this should have held, right? This should have held, and this was basically your flip. So when it flipped, right, now we go into positive gamma is slow grind, not a lot of fast moves, right? So see this, you'd be like, oh, this is, for me, I'm like, this is great. I can short here, go long. I love that, right? Gets up here, what grind, grind right away. See, it totally switched from this PA, right? They were negative gamma. Dealers have to sell as the market falls, and they have to buy as the market rises. Okay. Negative gamma, they buy support, they sell resistance. That's how it works. Those were the levels that I had on NQ yesterday, right? Then when they come over here, we get underneath. We're now underneath this zone here. Open it back up to negative gamma, backside test, white bar down. News driven, but not only was it news driven, but negative gamma. Dealers, all it is a mechanical. It's a mechanical thing. They are not buying. They in any kind of way you would think of buying and selling. They are hedged, working their hedge. That's all they're doing, right? It took me so long to understand that, right? Because when you think about it, you're like, why wouldn't they buy? Why wouldn't they when it's going down? Well, because they don't have to. They're working a hedge that has nothing to do with what they think about the market, right? They're just working that hedge. So and notice that we accelerate down to the downside. Look how shallow the counter rotations get. And then, right, this, and they accelerate back to the upside. So I want to show you something, right? This is where the algo runs into trouble. This is where I run into trouble, right? If you look, I am looking for the reversal bars on this, right? Looking for these bars to surge, point of control outside. Delta, so I don't have this algo, but this is what delta surge. Notice if I do those same trades over here, we're not even outside the channel, right? We're going to get a response on this. Up in here, up through most of that, whether we're in supernova, not in supernova. But when we get and we open, okay, I'm going to get lost back up into supernova. Now watch. Now I am in, right? Now I am in supernova, right? Notice I don't even have to, the outside are lifting. See, and we're in negative gamma. I'm getting outside the channel. Dealers have finished their bid, right? So so remember, what are they going to do? Okay, when we are in negative gamma, they are going to buy. They're going to sell and do pushes down. PA, right? See how it's going from edge to edge, and when it gets really crazy, they start pushing the edges. But you'll notice something. Let me show you something here, right? You go, okay, Simon. Well, how would I know? Sorry, what to trade? It's board. Okay, so this was all news. There's you have to control your risk on the stops, and if I was just automatic, some lines, but that's all right. If I was automatic in my trading, once I'm underneath here, I'm going to go the algos program to go. That's the long, and I think that 30-point stop on NQ survives, and this is the long. So it's stop, and I believe paid. I won't. Here, I'll measure it out. So pants on fire. it's 24 points. 30 points keeps you in the trade, right? And so then over here, notice that once it starts going, right, the star up, point of control outside, right, double control outside, star down, white bar down outside the channel. You'll notice once we get here and they get rid of um, the initial solid drive, at least scalpable rotations, right? And then if you'll wait to get outside the channel, right? Remember, we're in supernova, delta thrust, point of control outside, right? Bar down, outside the channel, right? Point of orange bar up, star up, double square down. And then watch this. When we get back above, so you see how it stays open. Once you've let loose, if it goes like the blue square on the right, and if you wait to get outside the channel, so then the question becomes, well, what do I do if I want to trade inside the channel? I have a better read of where we're going if you're going to trade inside the channel, right? If you'll look, most of these outside are scalpable to the upside. Where do you start getting hurt? See how it came down to that? It came down, if you look over there, we were down to that 95, came down, and if you got outside, here's stop one. You didn't get the algo here, right? And then here's green bar up with a point of control outside. You did okay. Make sure the bars are printing outside that channels. You're generally, right, in NQ, going to get something that's scalpable. The is this right here. And usually when we get this right here, it parks on that inside channel. So the easiest way to make that distinction is, do I have separation between the for long and the bar prior to the reversal bar? On the up bar. Does that all make sense, guys? What I just explained? Q and ES. Outside of those be really good. When you get into support resistance, if you wait for it's the stars, the delta thrust followed by the outside. It doesn't happen every time. Notice when we get back into this, where do we break down from? It was up here. So if you will look overnight, that was the delineation of rotation, no rotation. And if you look when we get back above that level overnight, there it is. Okay. See, okay, look how big the rotations are here. See, once we're so does everyone see how nice and wide the rotations are? Right? See, once we get over, chop, 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 chop. Once we get over, all of a sudden the rotations become small and choppy. Does everyone see that? Because it's what I'm trying to teach, is that delineation. Market moves and it goes to slow grind. Then we got news. This is resistance. This is obviously resistance up here. And obviously the regime changed at 3. But I'm trying to explain how that tightens up or how that expands out. So does that help? Does anyone have any questions over it? I am running the same ES Trader square on this. I go through and print the traders that I'm using. Okay, I'm using the 1 minute trader after 10:30, and I am using Hold on 1 second. 4, 4. I renamed these so many times when I'm working on them. Three, 3, 3, 3, 3. Well, let me see if it works faster. Hold on 1 sec. I'll flip back over. We are open, by the way. And I do not know why I cannot find my blue square. Hold on a second. $4.13 TP square on turn and delta stuff. 413.26. This one. So I've got to connect really quick to my Top Step account. Sierra Step. And I'm telling you, the data is completely clear that you have to be on for those delta stuff to work really well consistently without any outside of supernova, right? And I will be covering the supernovas. Let me see if I can get this loaded. I'm sorry, I've been testing like crazy on all my computers. This is too much data. Settings. There we go. That is what I'm using today. Once I figure out which one I want, which one I want to use, you can see this morning at 7:13. That would have been my, and I don't have a long entry. This, okay. So, and I'm watching for supernova, and then I will be calling out of the point of control. Did I erase today's? I did. Brilliant, huh? Let's see if I kept it anywhere. Okay. So this, so I don't have to read all. Perfect. So you can see resistance right out of the gate against global 4. Star down, outside of here. I'm going to short, and if I'm going to short, my target from here outside is back towards or to. If we impulse test, my target becomes 73, followed by 80. About the range I would expect. 44. Chart number 8. Oh, I have it. Okay, good deal. There it is. Do 70-70. So you've got to get good. I've got to be great at identifying what exact setup I want out of that location, right? So the other thing I am measuring, and I'm keeping a spreadsheet, it's on a manual count, right? The how far when it just hits that zone, how many times on the first time does it just reject out of there, and it's going to take me some time. Done. Does anyone have any questions over what I covered this morning? We should have a good day today, right? We should have a good day. And generally, I would expect us to trade zone to zone. These stars up like this and then rejecting down, particularly, so I don't always get it. You can miss it, right? But I want the POC outside or the algo down, right? But I would expect rejection out of here and a roll back to 71.27. This is the biggest open options area on the anywhere in this area on this chart, and it'll generally act as absorption. Okay, so if y'all will give me a moment. This absorption is totally okay. They're going to have to break through that wall, otherwise they're going to come back for energy, back down towards this 27. Mm. Again, I am looking for some type of combo where I get a reversal bar with a POC outside or a star down after the open. They are doing exactly what I anticipated doing in here to resistance and holding it down. It has to make an impulse or the other way move. Backside star up for a target to 71.73 to 71.77, right? Through here, it's positive gamma. It's exactly what you would expect. Thank you, sir. Like we're waiting on something. There was your point of control outside. Sorry, guys, I was doing two things at one time. That, just like I described in pre-market. Sorry, I should have taken it. I didn't see it. I apologize. Right, so I gave you a small rotation of basically 46, 48 to 42, 6 points. Again, we're in positive gamma. There's not a lot of volatility. Buyers are in overall control. We are over the 5-minute 200. We're over Globex low, and we're over the initial market's not really moving. Like it's just, there's just not a lot of wide range, right? So just be patient. It'll open up. You know they're going to say something somewhere today and the market will move. Don't jam yourself. Strong suggestion. Don't jam yourself. So, yeah. On the day, the rejection didn't take place like we thought it would, or if it was small. And you obviously need to get below and hold below 48 to go lower. Good information, right? By the way, it's got to be driving shorts nuts that we cannot roll lower on any news. That's just a broader backside picture, right? Like Iran fired on a couple of ships this morning, last night, nothing, right? So we're into slow grind mode. And also, the short squeeze environment is crazy. If you want evidence of that, go look at CAR. If you haven't seen the squeeze in CAR, it is insane, right? So you should have been stopped out on your trailer after you get to, right, the entry was 48. You wouldn't have wanted to stick this out through here. You want this to come underneath. Shorting behind it is much more difficult. It can work, but you really now want it to go inverse supernova and set up for you. Target here is 750. Outside the channel, plenty control outside. I will attempt to short at 25, whatever they'll fill me at, 84, 94. So I'm limited. I got 84 with a 30-point stop, straight up, right? I'm just looking at the delta thrust, star down, right, with a POC outside. So 14 is where my stop, 26,914 is where my stop sits, and that's 30 points away. And we'll see what happens. like 64 or either 70 or 64 how hard it becomes to get it the scale. And that, by the way, is just delta surge reversal outside the channel that's taken off the left, but this was manually taken in my cash account. And my only play here, outside the channel, I have delta thrust, point of control outside. On the 24 tick, it wasn't even on the 32 tick. Well, I got the same thing on the 32 tick, actually, so I'm good. Same trade in two separate accounts. Scale out right now. Man, I'm a little 55 and flatten. That's, did anyone else take that with me? Getting behind here, harder to gauge right now. If I can get a start, we'll take it for the short, targeting 71.27. There, that would make me go long. That is going to act as a magnet, by the way. So the choice is if it gets to 73, retest back to 50, coming back to the biggest point of control, unless we break down somehow. Covered off there on NQ. And the point of control is outside. I just don't have any algo on there to take it long. Here it is supernova with, oh, you know what? Sorry, I discussed this with Joyce. And supernova, we control out. I have that running it because I don't have it fully, I don't have it back. It just takes a to do the back test. So that is, Brian, are you in the room? I don't know if you're driving or not. Anyways, I discussed that with Brian. If you fall behind the count and you're trying to get P&L back on the board, the waiting for the supernova and then the first 2 points of control outside is a very, very good day. Okay, when you get back, you'll see it, Brian. No problem. Thank you. Again, I need to start down now out of here. Otherwise, I didn't get the algo I wanted up. Supernova point of control out, but I would have. My brain's not there. I'm trying to do two things at one time, so I apologize. But that's a good trade. We've got the setup again. The star down. Get a little bit of retrace. I will reattempt that NQ. Let's just Got 95. So I'll put 95 at 95, 05, 15, 25. Stop. Trade concept outside the channels, back to the mid. I have no idea if there's news out or not, so swept with news, right? Got the formula there, that square down, pointing control outside, star down, and an apex trap, okay? So 95 scale out of that, and I'm already sitting there at 80. Is in supernova, right? It's counting on that 7149 to act as a magnet and pull everything back in. I may be wrong. I am comfortable shorting outside that channel, okay? I know I will take some stops, but I know if I consistently trade outside of that, profit. Maybe wrong this morning, right? And I have the algo that does give you the back testing, but it's going to take me the weekend to give you a thorough all the way back outside of the one, and you had to make a distinction. The cross current here, right? Putting outside, right? 52, 7152 will act as a magnet, and I that. But that is how I am betting on it. Okay. Like I saw several people didn't take the trade there. My plan is to take the trade in consistently in order unless I just see that we're just straight up. I won't take 20 stops in a row, but as long as it's as I see rotation, I'm all right with it. I'll obviously control risk, right? But the best is to go zone from zone. So through, I can do both sides and most people can't. So let me think about it for a second. Bill, any kind of spikes yet that you see on your end? And if you car stock, look at this thing. Short squeeze on it. It's nuts. It's been like, it's insane. $100 to $700. Now, two hedge funds control it, and they have it lock stock, like they're not letting go of any of their rip roaring upside trade, right? I need to go back here. I may get stopped on this one. It is slow grinding and no rotation back in. I think that tagged me. Yep. There's a stop. And we are now, right? Now we're definitely in a trend up. I'll wait. I'll wait to get back on, or I'll wait till we get up to 71, 73. There must have been news that floated out. Let's see what we got. If we can get up 41 and the expected rotations today, so 41 would put us at 85 as well. That would match with, say. So see how we busted now on NQ? I won't try it again. My only hope was that we were going to hold this Globex high and come back for one more visit. And obviously I didn't close it out when we took this, which is totally fine for me. I got one win, got one stop. It's about neutral. So totally fine. The only thing I would have liked to have done better was this right here with the supernova point control outside. And since we've gone supernova, I have no turns of the point of control outside. So if I can get a push back down against Globex high and I get a turn with the PL now, See what our NQ upside target is. $8.53 was the strongest. It's the strongest zone that acted as a magnet. We pushed right out of it, which all of this is the upside target. But it's a huge zone. 3. Huge zone. I suppose I will try one more time there. I will attempt that right there with the green bar stuffed. I don't know where I can get my fill. Hold on. Let's see if I. So this is very aggressive, right? We're trending up. We're just outside that Keltner channel. Okay, so I'm short 63 against. Okay, and the problem with that 93 is it only puts me 10 points behind that zone. Okay, and the algo took it again, which makes sense. taking these. I'm just trading the levels that are being advertised. Okay, so I want to be really clear. This is trend up, not trend down. Positive gamma environment. It can keep grinding. I had a very good trade in ES that I'm working against. There's not, okay, and then this is, I'm on smaller size outside of whatever the algo, right? And I can get stopped. I want to be clear. I'm just trading a level, and that is it. I'll take, right? But we are grinding up slash trend up, and I'm doing. If you don't like the trade, right, outside of the algo, right, which I just let run, right? If you don't like the trade, I understand, right? You can wait till we go inverse break. We change the regime. I don't want to confuse anybody. Buyers are an over, and I it's the trend, right? That's generally a hard way to make money. You may get stopped twice. I have one win on NQ, one stop, and this would put me negative on NQ for the day if I get flipped here. Okay, but I'm pretty sure I know. If you have just started, right, the pitch of that move up is not the place to start your trading day, right? Don't start off on a bad foot, right? We have very little rotation, positive gamma, right? And I am sized correctly, and, right, and I'm actually flat on NQ up, and I can take the stop, and I'm up a lot from a trade I did pre-market. Okay, I just want to put the playing field clear. That trade on ES, excuse me, on NQ on the 32 tick looks like it's, if that bar prints up, I think it stops. I don't have a volume character. I have ES, right? I'm above Globex high on both markets, and market high, and I'll have IB high stat on both markets to contend with. Okay, and that's okay if I will. Okay, let me explain. Okay, if I look back on this, let's say I did the trade, I'd say, well, Simon, you're on trend up, you're shorting and fighting against trend up. The first shorts weren't against the trend up, but now we are. The easier way to do this, right? The easier way to do this is wait for the break, the retrace, and then go inverse supernova with the point up on the table. And I apologize because I did not make that clear because I'm trying to do too many things simultaneously. Okay, we have to be below this 48 in the bigger picture on ES to go lower. Have to. Tell NQ has no give. NQ has no give, driving straight up on that stop, it looks like. Okay. For whatever's going on, I'm grateful I wasn't bearish at the bottom, right? And if this gets stopped, I'll probably wait to see that there's give in the line. Again, this short over here at when I did manually, I'm short 63. Trader assist just got stopped on that on NQ, the one I'm running on NQ. Okay. Am I making right? The trade's still alive is because of the 63, and what it's doing is getting behind that zone. There's another large 7,000. So this area in general is resistance, but there's obviously no give. Remember, where we get most frustrated is in positive gamma, right? the market just grinds. It doesn't mean that it just grinds up or just grinds down, but it just grinds. So this is gap up above IB high now, or about to be, right? At least the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and there's no give in the line. So the way you do this, if you're trying to make money, just got stopped on that trade. So now I'm down on NQ, and I don't have another ES trade to speak of one way or the other, right? My target is up at, right? And then a super extended target is up there at 83, 87, okay? And again, it's frustrating because there's no slack in the line. It held until it didn't hold. And that thing's going to keep taking shorts up there until it gives, right? So turn that off, which I'm fine. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to sit patiently. Delta thrust, by the way, the algo, the auto trader algo for delta thrust, we'll take that. Environment, just turn it off, right? That's my strongest suggestion that I have. There's nothing we can do. There's no give in the line. There's nothing you can do. And I wasn't clairvoyant and said, oh, it's going up. You know? And yes, volatility to no volatility. 900. There we go. All three. Whoa. You've got to break. And I'm looking for a point of control outside of the body for a rotation back up. That's delta stuff. Again, I want the point of control outside and clearly outside. It's the first sell pressure I've seen of any sort. You've got to make sure you're getting these points of control outside, right? Like you had to know to scale that off. And I'm looking for rotation down. That's the only piece I need to, if I was going to fine tune, that's what I'd want to fine tune. that should have fired. Okay. Again, that zone I had. So that zone was 53. This 953. It just behind it. Where's the point of control on that? Inside. Outside in supernova. I didn't flip around fast enough. Again, these are scalps. Okay, these aren't like, oh, I'm going to swing it for 50 majillion points. They're scalps on the supernova trade. When the point of control is outside, you want 2 or 3 bars down, point of control outside, scalp to the upside. And this is a magnet. So remember, what you want it to do now is you want to then give us a signal for a roll to the downside. And then, so one of two things, take out the IB high, the 53, right? Or come up to the 73, 77, 87, one of the two targets. Now, you can argue, probably quite accurately, right, that the market, you'd be better off waiting until it hits its full rotation up from the bottom. You should get about 40 some odd points on ES, right? And then start looking for the shorts later in the afternoon since we're in trend. high stat satisfied. Wait for it on ES. And again, where all the resistance is sitting now, if it can get there and right, or not. And then I'll tell you what's above here. And then 27,000, right where we're at right here. There's a lot of calls sitting up here, right here at 27,000. You might want to wait till ES tags that high. But if you were looking for area, this is a area. But this is trend up, open drive higher, plus 369. Missed the IB high. Bet it comes back for it on ES. It's too. Again, I'm looking for these bars on the outside where I get a bar that closes just like a 10 things going at once. Okay, so this is where it can get difficult. This is where it can get difficult. But I am completely outside, right? Bar in front of it's completely outside. Outside on both the 24 and the 32. Okay. And then when it comes back into support, I'm looking for the points. Right. So it's just a give and go, give and go. We are up 300 points. Good, given that we're up as much as we are. Damn, I can't get the PSC there. I'm long that 80. 80 against 50. Same trade. I wanted it and didn't get it. Risk way up here, right? All I am trading is what I've pointed out in the video. We're in supernova. The point of control is out. This is just a scalp, is all it is, right? And I'm looking for ES to come up and take out that high up there at some point. Well, I don't want to take it up for 3 points. No, we'll be right back in 1 second. Watch, I'll have missed that first one because I was yapping, and I'll catch the stop on this one, but that's okay. That's what I figured was going to happen. Stopped right to the tick. I don't even think it traded there, but it says it did. I did not scout, and that's the one thing Dan does great. See when it popped to 88? He popped out of it. I promise you, he popped out of that. He won't let it flip back, and I have this thing where I'm going to sit there patiently, but that's all right. The trend days up are frustrating, are they not? That's eating to my ES profit. I'm long the 59, same trade. If you do not like it, right? We do not, we're in negative gamma, and that's why we're grinding like this. I just, this executed manually. Yeah. I'm long 59, basically 58.75. I'll scale half of that at 69. They'll give it to me. I was late. I'm slow today. It's bugging the daylights out of me. Got my 69. And I'm on a trailer. Again, I'm just covering off those last two stops, so nothing exactly impressive yet. But I do want to show you through this series, right? This was the first point of control outside. First, second, I didn't scalp it. I took the stop. This is third. Those are meant to be scalps, not I'm going to ride it forever trade. Okay. And then the other way around, the points of control outside. Can everyone hear me? My mic's on, correct? Mic check, guys. Maybe it's not. So look, one, I had to scalp it. That went for a stop for me because I tried to push it. 3, 4, 5, all outside, right? All outside. On the long side, This was outside the channel, not as good as I want. The point of control is outside. I'm on a scalp there. And then this morning, right at 8:33, point of control outside the channel. And that's all I've got. Okay. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to stay quiet for a little bit, see if I can get one more setup, but that helped a little bit. We'll see if I can get an extension on the trailer. If not, otherwise, those trailers will stop out and we will go from there. Okay, I'll talk to you everyone in just a bit.